Welcome to the show. Today we'll explore why excess liquidity sitting in a standard business, HYSA, at 3% may be quietly eroding your profitability, especially in a high inflation environment. We'll contrast instant access with guaranteed yield, explain why rates may be peaking, and show how locking idle cash in a one-year business CD at around 3.9% can boost returns with minimal operational risk if your runway is secure. Along the way, we'll quantify the difference, outline an action plan, and test your knowledge with quick quizzes to ensure you can apply this immediately. First, we'll set the context and quantify the cost of excess liquidity. Next, we'll compare HYSA at 3.0% to a one-year CD at 3.9%. Then we'll frame the macro timing, walk through a practical action plan, and discuss key risks with mitigations. After that, we'll test your understanding with quick quizzes, and then finish with key takeaways and recommended next steps you can implement right away. Before we dive in, a quick disclaimer. This video is for educational purposes only and is not financial, legal, or tax advice. Every business has unique cash flow dynamics, risk tolerances, and banking relationships. Consult your CFO, controller, or a qualified advisor to tailor any strategy to your specific liquidity profile, operating needs, and risk parameters. Now let's frame the problem. Holding surplus cash in a 3.0% HYSA feels safe because it's instantly accessible. However, when inflation runs higher than your yield, your purchasing power declines, and you effectively subsidize the bank. The convenience of instant access is a hidden expense when the funds are not actually needed for operations. In many cases, idle cash can be segmented and a portion locked for a defined term to earn a higher, guaranteed return without disrupting working capital. Next, let's quantify the economics. Inflation reduces what your money can buy over time. If your HYSA pays 3.0% and inflation is around 4%, your real return is negative. Moving to a one-year business CD at 3.9% narrows the real loss dramatically. While both nominal rates are below inflation in this example, the 0.9% incremental yield compounds into meaningful dollars for 6- and 7-figure balances. This is precisely why, for truly idle cash not needed for at least 12 months, prioritizing yield over instant access can protect profitability. Moving on, let's compare products. HYSAs provide instant access and no penalties, but yields are lower and variable, so rates may drop. CDs lock your funds for a fixed term, offering a higher guaranteed rate, which is valuable if you expect rate cuts. The trade-off is liquidity. You may face an early withdrawal penalty if you need the funds before maturity. This is why proper cash segmentation and a clear runway assessment are critical before choosing the CD for your surplus tier. Let's put numbers on it. Over 12 months, $100,000 earns about $3,000 in a 3.0% HYSA versus $3,900 in a 3.9% CD, adding $900. At $500,000, the uplift is approximately $4,500, and at $1 million, the difference is about $9,000. These figures are simple nominal approximations and ignore compounding conventions, day counts, and taxation, but they illustrate the magnitude of improvement from a modest rate increase when applied to meaningful balances. Meanwhile, timing matters. Many market observers believe policy rates have peaked and that cuts are likely in the near to medium term. If that outlook is correct, variable HYSA rates could drift lower, while a one-year CD allows you to lock today's higher rate. This hedges against a downward shift in yields. If your analysis supports the view that rates will decline, securing a fixed rate now can protect your return on truly idle cash. Next, here's a practical plan. First, segment cash by time horizon. Operating cash for immediate needs, near-term reserves for the next 1 to 3 months, and surplus funds for at least 12 months. Then, validate your runway with conservative assumptions. Confirm deposit insurance coverage and counterparty strength, and understand early withdrawal penalties. Consider a one-year CD or a simple ladder to balance access and yield. Finally, automate monitoring of rates, maturities, and forecasts to maintain alignment as conditions change. Here's a quick check. The question is, if you have a secure 12-month surplus and expect rates to fall, which choice best protects return on idle cash? The options are: keep all surplus in a 3.0% HYSA, Move the surplus to a 1-year business CD at approximately 3.9%. Spend the surplus on equipment immediately, or hold the surplus in a non-interest-bearing checking account. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is to move the surplus to a 1-year business CD at approximately 3.9%. When rates are likely to decline, fixing your yield locks in today's advantage. Provided your surplus is truly not needed for 12 months, the higher guaranteed return outweighs the convenience of instant access. Now let's address risk. Liquidity risk arises if unforeseen expenses force early redemption, leading to penalties. Rate path risk occurs if rates rise after you lock in, creating opportunity cost. Counterparty risk relates to bank strength and deposit insurance limits. Process risk includes administrative friction, signatory delays, and operational bottlenecks. Mitigate by maintaining sufficient operating buffers, using ladders for staggered maturities, diversifying across institutions, and ensuring all signatories and documentation are prepared in advance. Here's another knowledge check. The question is, which risk is most relevant when locking a CD for the surplus tier? The options are operational friction, early withdrawal penalty, bank credit risk, and insurance limits, or all of the above. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is all of the above. Even surplus cash requires active risk management. Liquidity risk can trigger penalties, bank risk must be addressed through insurance coverage and diversification, and operational friction can delay access. Addressing all three dimensions creates a more resilient and practical cash strategy. To visualize the process, imagine a flowchart beginning with total cash on hand. It branches into 3 time-based tiers: operating needs for 0 to 30 days, near-term reserves for 30 to 90 days, and surplus for at least 12 months. Operating needs point to a liquid vehicle such as a HYSA or treasury sweep. Near-term reserves suggest either the HYSA or a short 3 to 6 month T-bill or CD ladder. For the surplus branch, a decision gate verifies runway. If the runway is not secure, the flow returns to reforecast cash. If secure, the selection leads to a 1-year business CD at the higher fixed rate. Cross-cutting checks include insurance coverage, counterparty health, and early withdrawal policies. A monthly monitoring loop brings the process back to total cash to reassess conditions. In summary, idle liquidity can silently reduce profitability in an inflationary environment. The 0.9% uplift from 3 to 3.9% is meaningful for sizable balances. If rates are peaking, fixed 1-year CDs can hedge against coming cuts. The key is to segment cash carefully and lock only the true surplus. Finally, manage risk with operating buffers, staggered maturities, diversification across institutions, and regular monitoring. As we close, here are your next steps. Assess your runway and segment cash by time horizon. Obtain competitive 1-year CD quotes and compare against your HYSA rate net of any operational considerations. Pilot a modest allocation to validate process and comfort, then scale. Finally, automate monthly reviews of rates, cash flows, and maturities so your strategy stays aligned with changing conditions. Thank you for watching. If you found this valuable, please like the video, share it with your team, and subscribe for more practical finance content. In the comments, tell us how you segment your cash and whether you plan to lock in rates now. Your insights can help others refine their approach.